Hey, this is Scott Kokenauer, and welcome to the exclusive interview series that I'm doing with some really influential leaders who are doing some really good stuff. And today I've got with me Kelley Elby, uh, Kelley Ashby from KelleyAshbyConsulting.com. How you doing, Kelley?
Great, Scott. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Happy
It's
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, it's Monday, and I was looking at a meme the other day. For those of you listening, we're recording this on the 11th of January, 2021, and I saw this meme that said, "I'm done with my 7-day trial period for 2021. Where do I go to return it?"
Oh my gosh, that's perfect. That is funny. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Well, we have to laugh, don't we?
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
or
to
else
keep
we'd be crying all the time, right?
Exactly. There's just so much going on, and it's really hard to keep track of it all and to make sense of it all, which is kind of cool in relation to the conversation that we're going to have. So, talk
Yeah.
to me what you're wanting to get across here.
Yeah. Well, I think that this what I'm going to talk about is has been probably bubbling up for a long time. What I want to talk about today is how critical some of the verbal communication skills are that we need to demonstrate, especially in this day and time of, so much upheaval in our country and so much just high emotion, to put it bluntly. And so there are some, three quick tips that I can offer today just to, manage the emotions that are going with these difficult conversations.
Hmm.
So it's really centered about around being present and being able to show up in a way that doesn't escalate things. And
Hmm.
so none of us holds all of the truth, right? We all have our slice of what our reality is.
Hmm.
And sometimes, especially, in these days, it can be really challenging to really try to understand the other person's point of view. So I
Right.
wanted to offer those three tips today to people so that they could put those into practice, right now, even when they're getting into difficult conversations with other people about what's going on in the world.
Great. Great. Let's go
So
with number one.
yep. Number one. So the first one is be intentional about taking that purposeful pause before turning around and just reacting to whatever the person is saying. And so, what I know from my emotional intelligence certification is that when we can stop and pause and take a few deep breaths before just reacting, it allows us to formulate our thoughts, make sure we don't say something that we might later regret, but it also allows for the chemicals that are coursing through our body when we get ramped up or triggered to dissipate. So taking that purposeful
Mhm.
pause allows us just to catch our breath, catch our thoughts, and respond slowly and intentionally rather than knee-jerk reacting.
So that's kind of like adding margin to the conversation. A
Yes.
lot like cartilage is for the knee. It's kind of painful when there's no cartilage and you're just
Oh,
banging it bone to bone. That's really helpful, and it's not easy.
no, it's not easy because when we get triggered, our automatic response is to react and to be perhaps more aggressive than we normally would be. So
Right.
we're intentionally pushing pause, like literally push pause,
Hmm.
and creating that space between what we just heard and what comes out of our mouth or how we behave next.
Okay, let's say you said something really hurtful to me,
Mhm.
which you frequently do.
I
On
do all the time.
um, and let's say I do the purposeful pause. What do I do during that pause, and how long should a pause be?
Well, I don't have the magic number for how long the pause should be, but what you should be doing during that time is taking some deep breaths and
Mm,
collecting your thoughts rather than just thinking about how you're interpreting the other person. Seek to understand the other person
right.
because all of us really want to be understood, right? And
Yeah.
when we feel understood, then we leave that interaction feeling more positive about the other person, but also feeling more positive about, okay, we can agree to disagree, but it doesn't have to escalate into, craziness.
Right. Yeah. I read somewhere once that the best way to wake up in the morning and to continue through the week throughout the day is to think two things. Number one, every person you lock eyes with today is priceless. And number two, everybody assume everybody has the best of intentions.
Yes.
Just
Great.
make that the baseline. You know, that way, if they say something that is a little off-putting to you, just go to the default and say, "Okay, I must have misunderstood that."
Yes, that
Okay.
is so true. Which brings us to the next point, actually.
Well,
So if the default is I believe you have the best intentions in mind, and I must have misunderstood, this gives you the opportunity to practice the next thing. Ask more questions.
mhm,
Ask more questions to get a better understanding of what, where that person is coming from, what experiences led them to have those conclusions, that type of thing. Just dig a little deeper. So one of the things I've recently read was in actually Fierce Conversations by Susan Scott
mhm.
is about if we're going to go digging for water, we're going to have better results if we dig one 100-foot hole than if we dig 100 1-foot holes, right? We're
True.
more likely to strike water, right? If we dig one 100-foot hole.
Love it.
So when you don't understand, ask more questions to dig deeper, to show that person that you are listening and that you are engaged.
That's beautiful. That's great. Yeah, I was reading a book called, The Coaching Habit, and, the second question in there is called um oh, man, I can't remember now what it is. It's the awe question. "And what else?" So
Yes.
AWE, "And what else?" Or "Tell me more." Ask me, just, help me understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect for the third point.
Now, those of you listening, this has not been rehearsed.
This has not been rehearsed. You are so right, right on the mark. When you don't understand, when you don't have a question that you can formulate, then just simply say, tell me more about that. Help me understand where you're coming from. And so when you were talking about what do I do during that pause, it's simply like figuring out which one of those questions you're going to or statements you're
Mm,
going to ask,
mm,
or say. And so that again shows the person that you are listening, that you're interested, that you value what they're saying. And when you do it in an authentic manner, you're genuine in your discourse with that other person, and so
yeah,
that strengthens and enhances the relationship rather than making it even more awkward and
right.
escalating things.
I love it. I love it. That's
Thanks.
great. Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Kelly, and
you
thank
bet.
you
Thank you.
for watching, this broadcast, this exclusive interview with Kelley Ashby of Kelley Ashby Consulting, talking about 3 easy to be easy to implement verbal communications. May it serve you well as you pursue your excellence. Thanks.